Hey there, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if it is your first time here. My name is Erin and I make videos primarily about sewing, primarily garments within that. I talk about what I've made, what I think of the patterns, and just generally what I'm up to in my sewing room. I also talk about knitting and cross stitch at times because I do those things with my hands also. Let's get started. This week I finished up 2 pieces of activewear. I had started the Cavallo leggings from Green Style a couple weeks ago, and then I went out of town. I got a cover stitch right at the new year, and so this was my first thing really using the cover stitch. And one of the reasons I really wanted a cover stitch was to get this kind of flat lock look, this more athletic look, using the cover stitch reverse or upside down, not really reverse so much, but instead of having the needles on the top, having the looper show on the top, the right side of the fabric, just to give it a little more athletic of a look. I have worn these once to work out. The cool thing about these leggings is that there's no inseam, so I definitely noticed that while I was running, is that it was like smooth. Bath time is happening with lots of shaving cream and foam and fun stuff like that, so you might hear that in the background. So yeah, I used my cover stitch to top stitch all of the seams. I really like how it turned out. I do want to play with some like stitch settings because it just ended up a little more dense than I wanted. Here is kind of more of what I was looking for. Sorry, my lighting's not good in here. But you can see it ended up a little more dense in other sections. I still really like them. I still really like the look, and I think I'm really going to like wearing these leggings. I made a size G. My measurements are always down in the description box if you want to kind of compare to yourself how something would fit. And this is a serge. Oh yeah, that already came undone. Yeah, I need to go back over this section. Okay, it's just decorative top stitching. I had kind of had to stop and restart here, and I should have just redone the whole seam. The more you know, the more you think of. Anyway, I will redo that before I wear them again. The good thing is this is all decorative. It is still serged on the inside, so there's no risk of this popping open, but I do want them to look good. But what was I saying? I made a size G. I did the ultra high waistband. I think I would go down to just the high waistband next time. This comes like just a hair above my natural hip, so the top part kind of did fold down a little bit as I was exercising. Not really while I was running, but when I was doing like stretching or some strength workout stuff, this did kind of fold a little bit, which I didn't love. I chose to do the pocket. You can do the slant pocket, or there's an option to have it go straight across the top. I like how the slant pocket looks. And then for the waistband, you can do a symmetrical one where there are seams on the sides, or you can do this one where you have it go all the way around the back, and then this little panel is just in the front. It kind of lines up with the other style lines on the leggings. Other than that, very simple construction, very easy to make. The fabric I used is from Serge Fabrics. It is an ATY. I had mentioned in a previous Friday sews that I was a little worried about the size and I didn't think they would be quite big enough. They are tight, but in a good way, in a secure way. I have made other leggings previously that like would fall down because they were just a little too big. So this actually worked out really well, turned out to be the perfect size. I went by the size chart and just like trusted it. Plus this fabric does have, I believe, 100% stretch, if I remember from the website. So, I mean, it's activewear. It has really activewear fabric, has good stretch, good recovery. I don't know if it's really 100%, but very good. So I made those, and then to go with them, I made the Onyx bralette from Sinclair Patterns. I made a size 14 regular. A cool thing about Sinclair Patterns is that they have petite, regular, and tall in, I believe, all of their patterns. And then I think there was some cup sizing options for this also. But this is that bralette. I really like how the band was done. I have had issues with other sports bras, including ones I've made, when the band is just serged on and then you have the exposed seam here on the inside. I have like actual lines from where it chafed during some of my long runs and cut into my skin. Not fun. So when I saw that this has you fold the band over and then top stitch, I was very grateful. It felt great while I was working out. No issues. I didn't do a long run in this yet, but I think that issue will be eliminated. I did the same thing with the kind of decorative top stitching on the top side. I do like that it has this princess seam and some paneling. Options I chose were the middle neckline option. There is a high neck, this neck, and then a little bit lower of one. And then on the back, I did the full back. I don't know why. As I was making it, I really could not think of why I did the full back rather than the racer back. So I will probably make the racer back in the future. Things I noticed while wearing this, the arm side comes up a little bit more than I would like. I also have that issue with the Made for Mermaids Lulu sports bra I made. It's like a Lulu, it's called a tank top maybe, but I made the sports bra version of that, and it also just kind of like eats into my armpit a little bit. So I think that's a me problem and not really a drafting problem. One thing about the drafting is it's fully lined. It could be fully reversible. So the pieces are the same for the main fabric and the lining, which means you do have a little bit of like rolling. I did understitch the lining. I don't plan on reversing this because I used the same fabric on both sides. But yeah, so I understitched it, which helps it a little bit come in. But if you truly, truly want a garment like this to not have the rolling issue with the lining pieces need to be just a smidge smaller than the main fabric and understitch, and that'll really keep it from rolling. I've done that on other pieces of activewear where the pattern had me do that and had separate lining pieces, pattern pieces, and it really makes a big difference in just that bit of stopping that little bit of rolling at the seams. Not a huge deal. It didn't affect my comfort, but I think it would look better if I didn't have any of that rolling issue. Because even when you understitch the neckline, if your pattern pieces are the exact same size, sure, it kind of like brings it in a little bit there, but where's that extra fabric going? It has to come out somewhere. It's hard to tell because this fabric's dark, but like it has to come out somewhere. It's not always gonna bunch underneath on the inside, if that makes sense. I will be making this again for sure. I used the same fabric, like I said, the Surge Fabrics ATY, but I did also add power mesh on the inside. So one thing I really appreciated about this pattern was it has a chart in the instructions where it lists different types of fabric and then what their hold is, how much support they give. So it has a chart for the main and a chart for the lining, and you can be like, okay, if I use the same thing here, it's good support. If I use a lighter like lining and then a heavier main fabric, it's going to be medium support. That was a really good visual and a really good way to see what my result was going to be. And it had a note at the bottom where if you put power mesh in, it ups it one level. So I think my choices led me to like very good support or something like that, a higher category of support. And I would agree with that. So, oh, last thing that I thought was very, very cool. So for the elastic in the band, like I said, I really like how they had you enclose it so that there's no exposed seam there that can cause chafing. The other thing that was really cool about it is it had you cut the elastic and then join the ends within a piece of woven fabric. So I have some pictures to insert from when I did it. The pictures in the instructions are quite good for this section, but I don't think it's kosher to share those. I don't know. So I just took my own pictures. You just take a small scrap of woven fabric, you wrap it around the two ends of the elastic, and you don't overlap the elastic. You keep it flat and just butt them together. Then you stitch around and zigzag down the middle of where the elastic joins. And then you have flat elastic. You don't have any of that overlap bulk. There were a couple places in this pattern where it talks about like doing something a certain way to reduce bulk, which again, because of like chafing and comfort and stuff, makes a lot of sense on activewear. So I appreciated that. Some things I did not love about the instructions was really just, there were 2 points where how the instructions were worded just did not compute with my brain. One was the burrito roll for the straps. Thankfully, I have done it before for other activewear, and I knew what to do, but just the way it was worded, was not friendly for my brain and how I process things. I was also very tired, so that was probably part of the problem too. Thankfully, it did not hold me up. I knew how to do it. The other section, though, I will say, was finishing this arch, this like hole in the back here. The instruction, they can just be a little wordy. I think that's what it was, is there were just like too many words in there that were not helping explain what I wanted to do. The picture ended up being more helpful, and I will say they used a different lining fabric than main fabric, which obviously makes it a lot more clear, but that was a bit of a head scratcher. I'm gonna put that down to just being really tired and the verbiage just being a bit too wordy, maybe. But obviously I got through it. I figured it out. I got a sports bra that I really like. This might be my favorite sports bra that I have made so far. I've made like 3. I think this is only my 3rd. So, but I really, really like this one. The other options for the back are a racer back, like I mentioned, and then an H back, they call it. It's basically the racer back, but then they have a separate panel for the middle. There are a lot of color blocking opportunities with this because of all the panels, and that'll be really good for using up some activewear scraps. Very happy with both of those makes. One thing I forgot to add is that I did a lot of cover stitching in the round, and I used a video that one of you left down in the comments of my last video. Thank you, Kathy. It is a great way to end in the round. So I'm gonna put that link down in the description box also and pop it up above, so that if you are trying to find some techniques for ending your cover stitch in the round, you can try this one out, because it has worked so well. When I was doing the leggings and the sports bra. A thumbs up, A+, great technique. We'll definitely continue to use it. Thank you so much, Kathy. The other thing I did while I was out of town, I made the first block for my murder mystery quilt. I mentioned this in my Make 9 video, and a lot of people were intrigued by it. You have until the beginning of the 2nd week of February, I believe, to sign up after the second block is released, which will be the 2nd Wednesday in February. There's no more signups for the year. I think it's closed at that point. So if you are interested, I will leave the link down below for the Murder Mystery Quilt. You get a block every month, that is a mystery block, and a chapter to read, and you have to solve a murder that happened at Machu Picchu. So this is the first block. It's quite large. It was really easy to put together, so if you're worried about signing up and already being behind since a block has been released, do not be. This came together super, super quickly. I had originally had a different fabric in here. I switched it out, and I'm really glad I did. I'll include a picture of what it originally looked like. I had picked up one print. I don't know why I only picked up one like actual printed fabric with some leaves on it, and it just did not fit. So I pulled that out. I think this is the top, but yes, very, very large block. It is going to be quite a sizable quilt. The first chapter came out. My husband read it with me. We love solving little mystery things like this, so he's going to read the chapters with me. We learned nothing so far. Like, some characters have been introduced, and like there's a little bit of setup, but overall, you are not behind if you have not signed up yet. If you are even a little bit intrigued, I definitely recommend doing it. I think it's $9 a month, or like there's also an annual option that's basically the same price. But yeah, I'm excited to see what the next one is. The design is supposed to be inspired by the Incan culture and Machu Picchu, so it's gonna be very interesting to see it come together. I'm so excited. Okay. That is it, I believe, for sewing. My plans for next week, I'm gonna make another pair of leggings. I'm so ready to sew something woven, you guys, but I am teaching a class at my local quilt shop that is about leggings. I chose to do the Jaylee Clara leggings. I have not sewn these before specifically, but I have sewn other Jaylee patterns, and I find their instructions to be really good. Their size range is really generous. It starts at approximately 2 years old, and I have made my daughter a 2T from a different pattern, and then goes up to about a ready-to-wear size 22. So not a hugely inclusive size range, but like if you have small people in your life, it's nice to just have one pattern, since a lot of companies will make you buy the children's and the adults, which is fair. Anyway, the other thing I really like about Jaylee patterns is within the instructions, there is a technique that they teach you to sew activewear, sew stretch fabrics without a serger. And that is really what I wanted, is so that students don't have to have a serger to be able to make this. They can kind of step their foot into knit fabrics with just their home sewing machine, because you totally can do knit things on your sewing machine. You can make activewear, you can make swimwear, all of that stuff. A zigzag stitch is your BFF. So I wanted that to be in the instructions. Anyway, these are really, really interesting. There are only 3 pattern pieces. I just traced it out last night. There are only 3 pattern pieces. There's the waistband, if you want to make the waistband. There's a gusset, and then the pants are all one piece. There's no center front seam. My drawings will show it a little better. And you can do just elastic at the top, or you can do that waistband. There are different lengths, all that good stuff. No pockets, but we'll survive. I don't usually end up putting pockets on my leggings anyway, personally. So I have those traced out. I'm going to make it up. I ordered some fabric from knitfabric.com. I ordered a cotton spandex, seems to be a heavier weight jersey in black, and then some of their activewear fabric so that I can give both of those a go and recommend them to students if they're good. So when those come in, I'm going to make probably two pairs up in those fabrics. Obviously, I am teaching this at a quilt shop. Don't know if I said that, but I'm teaching it at a quilt shop. They do not carry any knit fabric. There's just literally not space to. They have so many beautiful other fabrics. So I need to be able to give the students a reasonably priced option. I order a lot from Surge Fabrics. I recently ordered from Fabric and Flow for the first time. Really, really beautiful, high quality options, especially when you're talking activewear fabric. But I know that that can be a little more expensive than people maybe want to spend on their very first pair of leggings. So I'm gonna try out knitfabric.com. I will report back if I like the quality for the leggings. That's it for sewing. I do want to get into some woven stuff. I do have some plans to maybe do to definitely do a collab with someone on something. So that's probably what I'll move into working on next. And I want to make up a pair of Hudson pants for my husband. I got that traced out while I was out of town, and they should make up pretty quickly. And he wants some more joggers. So hopefully that'll all happen next week. Not the entire collab. That's going to take a while, but anyway. Now, moving on to other crafts. While I was gone, I started the Waxy Moon Designs Winter House Trio. This is on my Make 9 for this year. It is a cross stitch pattern. It's 3 little houses. I am stitching them all in one. So I got going on that. Made some pretty decent progress actually, considering I did not really cross stitch a whole lot. It's funny because we were in Texas visiting my family in the DFW area, and they got snow, which happens at this point once every year, once every other year. But it's not super, super common. So it snowed while we were there. It actually delayed my husband's flight, which was a little bit of a bummer, but I started this while it was snowing, which I just thought was perfect. So I got going on that. I will probably not update regularly about it, but I wanted to show you that I did get it started. It's on my Make 9, and I started it while it was snowy, which is funny because I also don't live somewhere where it snows. Then I'll be there in just a minute, okay? I have to wrap this up. I have also been working on my temperature blanket. Now, I got about 5 days in, and I didn't like it, so I frogged it, which is undoing your knitting, because you rip it. I just think that's so funny. And anyway, so I redid it. I had been doing a garter stitch, which is where you knit on the wrong and right side, and I just don't really like how garter stitch looks or feels, so I frogged it. I cast on a few more stitches to make it a little wider, about 20 more stitches, and I am doing a stockinette, so it's flat. This is how it's coming along. Some issues in the middle. I'm kind of working with how to change color in the middle of the row because I am doing my side and my husband's side. I'm doing where we wake up is my plan, and I'm doing the high for the day. So this is up to, I think I have one more row for yesterday, so almost through the 16th of January. I really, really like how it's looking. I'm gonna do basically a calendar block for each month and then seam them all together. My hope is that I will take the time to weave in the ends and block it and everything when I complete a month so that I don't have to do it all at the end of the year, because I think seaming it together, I could even start seaming them together as the year goes along. That's my plan. We'll see. This is all new, but I really do like how it's coming out. I am using Lion brand 24/7 cotton yarn in a worsted weight, I believe. I should have it. Yeah. 24/7 cotton. Does not say what weight it is, but this is what it looks like. I have colors for the whole temperature spectrum. So that has actually been going really well. I originally started with trying to do it at night before I went to bed, like complete that day, but that felt too high pressure. So I've switched to doing it in the morning, like while I have coffee, while my daughter plays, and we just kind of get our day going. I'm doing 4 rows a day. So I have switched to, yeah, doing it in the morning. I can see what the high ended up being and just kind of relax. It feels a lot less stressful to try and work on 4 rows throughout the day than at night before I go to bed. So that's what I have been doing, and it's working out well. And yeah, I really, really like how it's coming together. You can see when I was in Texas and it was really cold. You can see that Adam got delayed because he was still here, and then we were back together. So I like how that is going. And last thing I have put a ton of work in on is my Ozetta Lakes Stripes tee, I think is what it's officially called. So before I went to Texas, I had to finish the front panel, shape the arm side, and then join it to work in the round. I have done that. I put a marker in here for where I was when I left, just out of curiosity, up here. So I was up here, I've done all of this. I knitted a lot on it while I was gone. It's perfect for just like sitting there and like talking, but also doing something with your hands, especially since I'm just knitting in the round now. It's just nice to sit there and work on it. So that is going really, really well. I'm so happy with it. I'm loving it. It's a great on-the-go project, especially now that I don't have to mark anything since I'm just going around. That is it for what I've been working on. Really, really happy with all of my projects. I am ready to work on something woven though, but I have plans in the works for that. In terms of life, we were out of town. We had a really nice time visiting my family. Like I said, it snowed while we were gone, and my husband's flight got delayed because of the big snowstorm in DFW. That area is just not, like, the infrastructure just isn't built to have a lot of freezing temperatures and snow. So when it does happen, it like kind of shuts everything down for a bit. He got in 24 hours after he was supposed to. We got to spend, you know, an entire day and a half with my family all together, and then we drove back together. Today is actually our anniversary, so he took the day off work. He's hanging out with the little one in the bath right now, and we're gonna go on a date later. We also got our floors fixed. So, man, at the beginning of November, we had an air conditioning leak with the internal unit of the air conditioner, and it turns out it had been like slowly leaking for a while, and there was some water damage, so they had to pull out a significant amount of flooring in our hallway into our front room, which is our library. We have bookshelves and stuff up there, and then into our daughter's room. So they ended up coming and they were able to fix that. Finally, now all the insurance stuff, you know, shook out, had to go through all the processes and get stuff scheduled. They finished that yesterday. It was a 1, maybe 2 day project that turned into like 3 to 5 days. But we're here, we're done. It's pretty much all good to go. They have to come back and fix one thing, but that is like a nice load off. It kind of stunk because we were stuck in the house for those like 3 days. And the thing that really keeps me, I don't know, energized, motivated, sane with being home with the toddler is getting out of the house and going to do activities and, like, you know, being up and out. So being stuck at home is always kind of hard when we have to be, but it's done. It's good. It's fixed. This weekend I am running another marathon. I signed up for this a couple days after the one I ran in December. That one the race day conditions were not great. It's a one direction race, which is great. Mentally, you don't have to turn around anywhere, but awful when there's a headwind the entire time. And there was rain, and it just was not good. Like, it was one where I was just glad that I finished it. So I signed up for another one because, you know, I've put a lot into training. My husband has supported me through all this training and stuff. My whole family has. So instead of just calling it good, I decided to put more time and money into doing another race to redeem us. I don't really care about the time so much, but I really, really just want a better feeling at the end of it. So we are going to Baton Rouge this weekend for another marathon. And yeah, I think it'll be a lot better. I hope it's a lot better. If this one does not go that well, it's fine. It's whatever. I have an ultra marathon at the beginning of March that then I need to start focusing on some more. But anyway, that's why I make all this activewear. Ooh, it is time to wash her hair. I'm gonna go morally support everyone through the hair washing experience. Let me know what you are working on, what you've been doing with your hands. How is the weather where you are? I want to make cozy things, but it's just not cold enough here to make a ton of cozy stuff. But anyway, let me know what you are up to, and I will catch you guys down in the comments. See you next time. Bye.